Welcome everyone, today we have a new builds guide for Diablo 4 for the Barbarians to level in Season 3. So this particular video, I want to make a preparation for myself and also for everyone else about leveling as a Barbarian. As you guys can see behind me, I have not used any of the unique items for this particular build. And if you scroll downwards, you can see that I have to try to make somewhat of a detailed step-by-step process of where and also when to get your legendary codex and also legendary aspects, how could you get both of them, and how do you upgrade your gears. So I try to make this particular build guide as detailed and as straightforward as we can to go into Season 3. And ideally, this will be one of the default leveling process for me. And yes guys, I am still planning to go into the charge build for the Barbarians, but I'll be farming for items and also legendary codex and also aspects. And before getting all those items, I might still go with a HOTA build while leveling faster than most of the other combos, most of the other builds I feel. So let's go through this video and I'll briefly go through the skills, choices, the skill tree, and also even the Paragon board. I have perked those, but if you're leveling, you don't worry about Paragon board until level 50. So coming over to our guide. Right away you can see guys, a lot of the legendary codex that I have selected can be farmed by clearing out dungeons that unlocks a codex. And on abilities you can see that there is a writing where you can unlock those items or where you can unlock those legendary aspects. Some of those legendary effects might not be unlockable from the codex, you will have to find those yourself. But others that is available, they will show you where to find them. So here it is a very straightforward, HOTA Barbarian build that will use maximum fury, core skill damage, and also additional damage to core skills. So what I want to highlight over here is I have written somewhat of a personal step-by-step process. Yes, after level 15 or even before level 15, if I want to clear the dungeons, those are the dungeons I want to clear for my HOTA build to be equipping my legendary aspects. So here I'll go with the HOTA AoE on my gloves, and also I'll go with the Fury Gain with the shouts for my rings. After that, I can go for a few of the damage bonus ones, even for the overpower damage by swapping weapons, but this is not critical and this is not urgent. Now as I play for higher difficulty and also going for the capstone for my Barbarian, I'll be on the lookout for dungeons that provide me with defensive aspects, including Disobedience, Might, and also Protector. And if you guys want, what you can do is simply copy, I'll use this as an example, simply copy what I've written over here and coming over to any of the default interactive map that you feel like you're comfortable with, and you can search for those dungeons. Once you type into the names, it will show you the location of the dungeon. And it's quite straightforward. I've typed out the names and hopefully everything's typed correctly, and you can search for the names of the dungeons and go ahead and also get those codexes. Now briefly going through the skill trees and also choices for this particular leveling build. You can see over here by clicking the leveling function, you can see the choices I made for clicking different skills. I don't think this will be a major factor, especially at the start of the perking of the skills. And most of the case, whenever possible, we'll go with ultimate and then we're going to the keystones. After that, it's just getting more passives and also getting ourselves with more damage, more defensive capacities, and also more utility. And this will enable the build. So if you want to follow my step-by-step process, you can see this on this site. Now I have decided to consider getting some movement speed. But if you find yourself to be a little weaker in terms of defensive capacities, you can take away the movement speed and also perk over here for the damage reduction. Now the choices of the seasonal pet effects are pretty straightforward. I am still going with a flash of adrenaline to give us bonus attack. And here I'll be increasing the duration, providing us with more attack speed and also providing us with lower cooldown of this particular buff. So this buff ideally will give us more attack speed and also more damage. And for HOTA build, we want more Fury Gain through attack speed. We also want to be attacking faster with our basic spells to then deal more damage with our core spell. So the Fury Gain attack faster is very good for the build. And on the other hand, we'll go with the slash to provide ourselves with additional Fury Gain. After that, we can also provide ourselves with increased critical chance and also the ability to pull enemies together. So this is something that I want to do when I'm leveling, because sometimes enemies are very spaced out, and sometimes for the range attackers, they tend to be running away. So the ability is to stack enemies together is like a mini vacuum, like a corpse tendril from the Necro, and this allows us to smack them with Hammer of Ancient to one-shot them. Of course, you can swap this one for the bonus damage to critical damage, or any of the other benefits you want for this particular supporting, particular socket. But for me, I think it's quite nice to have a mini, Necro on the team to give you a corpse tendril to suck them together. Now, because this is a leveling particular guide, I didn't want to go through too much of the Paragon board, but you can see the general idea for the Paragon board if you guys are planning to go beyond level 50. We'll be using the Berserk increased damage, which is critical for the build. After that, you can still go with the double overpower for the Crusher and also for the Dominate. You'll be going with Imbiber to provide yourself with more damage while healthy, and finally you can go with Wrath for more critical strike damage. This build itself is very smooth and also very easy to start. You can be upgrading your gears as you find more unique items and also more uber unique items as you go through the game. Now briefly going through the skill rotations. As Barbarians goes, we want to have as much fury as we can before using the Helm of Ancient, so usually I start with Rally Cry. Afterwards, I'll be going to use my Helm of Ancient at close to maximum fury or maximum fury. This allows me to do the most damage, because of my passives and also the ability to do more damage while having more fury. And finally, we will be wanting to gain more fury through auto attacks or basic attacks. And this will also provide us with bonus damage to core spells. And together with defensive aspects, we also have damage reduction from basic attacks. So the key is to have a rotation between the left and also right click if you're using a mouse. So Hammer of Ancient followed by Launch Strike is very nice to swap weapons. And if you're swapping weapons, you can be guaranteed yourself for guaranteed overpower after 8 times attack. And this is quite important to do the highest damage. Now I think everything else with the leveling build is pretty straightforward, and if you haven't tried the Helm of Ancient, this is a really good starting build for the Barbarians. And if you have tried the Helm of Ancient, over here I have provided you with additional notes so that you can see where to go to save the most time and also level the fastest with the Helm of Ancient for the Barbarian for Season 3. Now before we finish, a small side note. You guys might be wondering, hey Matt, you made, the Charge Barbarian build, how come you're not leveling and starting with this build? Well, if you look at the leveling build, the difference is there's a lot more codex that I can unlock myself in the dungeons. But if we come over to the charge build, there is more codexes that I want that has to be dropped by those naturally. So I can't guarantee that I have those codex when I'm leveling. But because I can guarantee I have the crucial codexes when I'm leveling with a HOTA build, I will start with a HOTA build. But just in case you guys are wondering, if I do get the Ancestral Charge for my charge build, that's when I can look into the charge build for my leveler build. And also I'll be gambling for the Bolt Chieftain and also the Bear Clan Berserker to lower the cooldowns and also to give me even lower cooldowns. And finally, I will be looking for my boots to pull enemies together for the explosion damage. So I'm looking for about 4 legendary aspects that has to be dropped. And I'm looking for at least 2 of those before I go into the charge build. And this is the difference. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I'll have the link and also the guide provided to you to see this particular charge build for Season 3, which looks amazing by doing a massive amount of AoE damage. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, no-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates, and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.